against.
Hey, it's Marty Butcher
peaceful
420, the
protesters.
politician. Let's get it in.
If you haven't heard the news, a judge is limiting ISIS crowd control tactics following a Minneapolis shooting. Now, I know what some of you are thinking.
Limitation.
Hold on. Why have I heard this before? It wasn't too long ago a judge sort of did the same thing. And you would be correct, because back in November, during Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago, a judge ordered the limitation or restricting the use of tear gas and pepper balls to push away rioters and protesters. Now, that did get overturned. They can use tear gas, but I'm just trying to show you guys this has happened before.
We're digging into the group organization, who's leading these groups. The FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, U.S. Border Patrol are all working in close concert.
Now, I'm sure you guys are starting to pick up on this. The Trump administration almost every single day has talked about protesters who cross that line or group organizers that cross that
agitators
line in order to impede or obstruct federal agents. It has been talked about almost every day. From Border Patrol to FBI, Homeland Security, this is new from the Trump administration, and it gives us an indication that a lot more people might start to get arrested than we've seen before in the past. In fact, here's Chief Bovino talking about it.
We're digging
this one needs to get
the group
egg thrown at him.
Who's leading these groups? The FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, U.S. Border Patrol are all working in close concert. We're making great strides in identifying the ringleaders, and we're going to bring them to justice. And something else here is it's not only federal agents and federal property they're damaging, but they're also going after American citizens whom they might think are federal agents, and American citizens, say, driving an SUV.
Have you guys seen this yet? I am seeing some videos on
What's
TikTok and other reports of people being misidentified as an ICE agent because they're driving a van that's actually a work vehicle. That is starting to pop up left and right as well, which is actually becoming a safety concern for anybody around the United States. That's what Chief Bovino is referring to. If you
Come on!
it might start to pop up on your algorithms.
They're actually stopping those citizens on the highway, damaging their vehicles, slashing their tires. So it's not just federal agents, it's everyday Minnesotans that are feeling the pinch from these.
Why the fuck is your face showing? Why is your face showing when you're doing shit like this? Somebody watch 420, the politician. Like, share, subscribe. Subscribe to this fool. I got to put his name in the description.
They're live streaming it. I mean, they're taking pride in what they're doing and want everybody across the country to see it.
So let me know what you think about this interview. Again, we've heard
I think they need to wear a face mask.
Especially from a Tom Homan or a Pam Bondi. If you cross that line and you impede, you know, you're going to get arrested. But now what we're seeing is something very unique in Minneapolis, considering like every federal agency is on the ground. We have a ton of agents. Kash Patel was even reported to be on the ground just 24 hours ago, working in coordination with federal partners to identify and find these groups. So let me know how you feel about that. And by the way,
but you won't go for the files, but you'll go out here.
It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. And make sure to also please subscribe, leave your comments. I really want you guys to tune into my live streams I do every morning. I think you will enjoy it because it allows you to interact in real time, and we go through everything in detail as far as Minneapolis and other federal investigations as well. Now, let's get to this clip.
Are casting a wide net of deplorable people who hold certain ideological beliefs, people who have Nazi tattoos on their necks, and descending them on American cities. And it's costing local municipalities millions of dollars.
If I get...
Scott.
What's elation?
What she just said.
What elation concentration? You want my papillation?
Here we go. Let's deflect.
Am I a citadation?
If you're worried about tattoos,
let's talk about what's happening.
Okay, so let me stop here. Again, leave your comments down below how you feel about this so far. Now, why am I showing you this clip? What does this have to do with anything? Well, one of the main talking points we are hearing from Minneapolis, whether it's from the mayor or other lawmakers or political news pundits, is that...
I don't know if it's going to be on his video right here, but I seen a video of some fool. I think it was I don't know if I saved it, but this fool got detained just because of his accent, and of course he had But he had his papers in 2019.
Flux. The federal surge going into Minneapolis is actually causing the city a lot of money. So
If
by
I heard
sending
right.
in all these agents, you're shutting down restaurants, areas to go shopping. People are afraid to go out. That is one of the main arguments we are hearing right now as far as opposition against these federal surges. Okay, so now I want to talk about judge limits ICE's crowd control tactics following Minneapolis shooting. So a lot of people are getting this story wrong. It's not a judge saying Homeland Security can't use tear gas or pepper balls. The judge is saying you can't if the protesters are peaceful. And for a lot of people who actually read through the story and looked into what the judge was saying, the majority of people would actually agree. Like 99.9% of people, to include conservatives, are like, yeah, if you're peaceful, why would you use pepper balls or tear gas? In fact, even
They feel threatened.
himself, who's had to go through this, agrees with this.
Exactly. We're going to continue
They're
to
threatened
use
within
that
themselves.
minimum amount of force necessary to
Even though they're
accomplish our
around
mission.
everybody
And we never
that
did
blicked
use
up.
tear gas or any other less lethal munitions
I mean, that's
against
paper.
peaceful protesters. We
Paper.
support the First
Paintball.
Amendment. We always support the First
God
Amendment.
damn it.
But when they cross the line and they're violent, we will use those less lethal munitions because it keeps them safe, it keeps our officers safe, and it keeps the public safe.
So again, even Chief Bovino is saying we can't because we support the First Amendment. Now, I do want to show you guys that this was a little
Oh, you
different as
support
far
the
as what was
fucking
happening up in
Constitution,
Chicago
eh?
and what Chief Bovino had to go through. Now, for the subscribers, you know we covered Chicago every single day. I think we
Chi-Town.
covered every single major event of Operation Midway Blitz. And it wasn't until halfway through the operation, that's when all of a sudden we saw a judge say, that's it, you have to limit or restrict the use of tear gas and pepper balls when defending yourselves. But for some reason, this part of the story doesn't get talked about too much. Appeals court blocks judge's order restricting use of force during federal immigration crackdown in Chicago. Why did the appeals court strike this down? Well, according to the appeals court, the judge was impermissibly infringing on the separation of powers between the executive branch and the courts. And this is the big distinction. The judge in this Minneapolis case is limiting, not restricting. So limiting on the fact of you cannot use tear gas or pepper balls if they're peaceful. And again, I think everybody would agree, to include Chief Bovino, yeah, we agree with that, and not only that, we haven't been doing it. And over in Chicago, there wasn't this sense of limitation, it was quite literally restrictive, like no tear gas at all, which is why the appeals court was like, hold on, you cannot make that judgment call. In fact, internally within Homeland Security, they have protocols in which they can use or not use tear gas, which is why, again, that got struck down. So I hope you guys see the big difference
So
here.
they put
you
a-
have restrictive use of tear gas
break.
pepper balls, that was Chicago, and then in Minneapolis, you have limited use. Now, while we're here, I might as well cover this topic.
More Investigates has learned about a change at the LAPD. Officers are now banned from using a type of less lethal gun on protesters.
It comes after a decision by a federal judge. Our investigative reporter, Eric Leonard, covers the LAPD for
yeah.
from the newsroom right now.
That's how they're doing
This
it.
is a judge pretty much making the same judgment call, but this time against the LA Police Department.
What happened? Eric.
Hi, Colleen and Michael. Well, this is a highly unusual happening here. The department now ordering that these less than lethal weapons shall not be used during crowd control situations after the judge ruled that officers have repeatedly violated her previous orders that were supposed to limit their use. U.S. District Court Judge Consuelo Marshall.
So the reason why I'm showing you this is because
So that means that they were going around hurting people. That it got so bad that a judge had to sign and say, you know what? There's a fucking there's when you have to and when you don't have to. And right here, you didn't have to and you used it and you fucked up people. And now that's why your ass is getting limited fucking crowd control. That's fucking wild. That's how you know, fool.
because there was already an order for the limitation of the type of munitions used against protesting or rioters, yet now we have crossed into the, again, not the limitation, but the restriction part of things.
Sorry.
Writing, the plaintiffs in this lawsuit have shown evidence that the
I've
LAPD
been drinking
has
all day.
continued
I'm
to
just
use
kidding.
40 millimeter munitions on protesters who did not pose an immediate threat of violence toward officers, that police did not provide warnings before using the munitions, and that officers hit protesters in restricted areas of their body. The court order
See?
also includes a list
See?
of recent violations.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. Shooting them where you don't need it. Like, what if somebody just your ass?
Many happened during recent immigration protests against immigration enforcement, including one officer who shot a protester while he had his hands up, then shot him again in the face. Another officer who shot a woman, then shot her again when she was on the ground. A third officer who shot a protester in the head while she was holding a sign. And a fourth officer who shot a man in the groin, then shot a lawyer in the groin after the lawyer asked the first officer for his name. Now, the lawsuit that led to this ruling was filed back in 2020 after the summer of George Floyd protests. Many demonstrators back then complained that police were using these weapons without justification.
So again, just to make that comparison, what happened in Los Angeles was a limitation, then the judge deemed it to be a restriction after reviewing evidence according to the judge, and we are in that limited phase right now when it comes to the Minneapolis story. So let's get to this.
And something else, Aisha, that we're seeing is that rank and file.
And here's the thing. Eat like some, you know how East Coast always gets their stuff first, and then it travels this way. Or like a coast, they get it first. Clothes, they get it first. Why? Because they have the coast, they have ships, they sell them through the water. You can move more in ocean than you can in land. Where was I going with this? I have fucking blacked out. Oh, they always say if you want to know how the United States is going to be, look somewhere else. And then you look, and then you see this happening and shit. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
Of many of the area police
Okay,
departments,
wait,
including Minneapolis Police Department.
What's happening
Many
is
of their
happening
rank
there,
and file
but for
police
different
officers are coming up to our agents
for
on the
different
ground
things.
saying thank you for what you're doing. We support you 100%. That's in direct opposition to, say, a Mayor Fry calling for cops to fight federal agents. So we've got the support of the rank and file and the American public. This mission is going to continue.
So they want to help. I mean, they're coming up to you and telling you that they actually do want to help, but their hands are tied.
I always say this whenever I cover stories like this. We never fully know how the police department really feels when it comes to situations like this. We do know that over in Portland,
you know they're like,
police
fuck these
officers,
fools.
the police union who was indicating that they did want to have
They
a
wanna
little more
go pepper ball for
cooperation
pepper ball?
and communication with Homeland Security. But as you guys know, the policies of Sanctuary City and the leadership of the mayor was really creating a restrictive access to communication and partnering together. So again, to Chief Bovino, he's saying, look, on the ground, they like us, they want to work with us, but when it comes to the policies, you know, there's a different tune out there. So keep in mind, what you see on the screen and what you're hearing, we don't always fully know the details behind the scenes of how police departments truly feel about the lack of coordination or communication with ICE agents or Border Patrol. So keep that in mind.
Exactly. We've seen this in California and Los Angeles. We saw this with Chicago rank and file police officers. And guess what? We're seeing it in Minneapolis also. And to any of those Minneapolis police officers, and I'm hearing this is happening, that want to join the U.S. Border Patrol or ICE, we welcome you with open arms. We support you.
Hold on, let me say something. What this motherfucker said, basically he said, we need people. We don't care if you're trigger happy or not. That's fucking wild, huh? They don't even get the right amount of time to train. You're just gonna put them out there.
Support you making American cities like Minneapolis.
You're not making them safe, fool.
So
you're fucking them up
personally with those officers.
You're trying to make the
that might
street
be
safe
to join a law enforcement agency that supports
but
them.
it's not safe.
Okay, so that would be interesting.
So you're
if we see
contradicting
this,
yourself.
Like,
But they don't give a
I
fuck,
was a
fool.
Minneapolis
That's one
in the
thing we
Minneapolis
gotta
Police
get through our
Department, or I
heads.
was in the St. Paul Police
We
Department.
cannot.
I'm
Sorry,
going
hold on.
cheapo
We cannot act like. I keep blanking out. I don't know
want
why.
to join Border Patrol. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
it's not that easy, but this Trump administration, anything can happen. Who knows if they create a fast track? I would not be surprised if that happens. This Trump
at this
administration
point,
has really created
I'm not even gonna be
unique ways
surprised.
and opportunities to conduct their operations and to get their
Because while
mission
you're say you're
completed. So
taking
we'll see what happens
and
with
making
that,
the streets
but,
safe.
Make sure to please subscribe because I will be.
Why
keeping
is there
you up to
people
date
dying
if
and getting
anything like
shot
that happens.
during
Again, I don't
this
know
whole
if it's gonna happen,
situation?
but it could.
What-
Okay,
where's the
now
peace?
I
Where's
want to
the-
talk about
in-
the
in
mayor
all
of
this
St. Paul.
ice?
There seems to be a lot more
Trump.
attention on the mayor of St. Paul after some recent comments.
But, we are also letting people know where it is that they can go in order for them to have individuals who might be there to protect them. Right? We know that there are certain locations that we
At
have
this point,
constitutional observers
fucking
who are ready to support.
Get a riot shield. With fucking with the visual and just
and to document. We are also informing people that if you are scared and you are worried, call 911. Our local law enforcement will show up. And so that is the best that we can do is continue to provide the best information as possible and to keep each other safe.
See?
But that means that requires.
like I said yesterday, it's difficult to play a game that you're playing, but you're not going to win. That's why she said, we're doing the best we can. We're trying to. They want to, but at the end of the day, that fool's a dick.
Our communities to continue to show up for each other as well, and they have heard our call and community issues.
I'm not saying don't play the game,
Now,
but
I have
know
been
how to
covering
play it.
St. Paul and Minneapolis
And know what you gotta wear
months
while you're
before,
playing
like
it.
the Nick Shirley video or this federal surge. And in my investigation and in my reporting,
Yeah,
St.
go out there
Paul
and
has
be like, what the
actually
fuck?
had the
Everybody's
bigger
all dressed in
story
this
than
shit. I'm over here all
Minneapolis.
open.
Now, again, for many different reasons, there's probably a lot more focus on Minneapolis because it's just the generally popular city. In fact, when I've talked to people off script, to my friends about St. Paul, they're like, where is that? I've actually heard that before. So just so you know,
Before you
St.
wanna
Paul
protest,
is one
make
of the
sure
twin
you're
cities
safe.
to Minneapolis. I think a lot of
That's
you
all
know
I'm
that
saying.
by now. But one thing I found rather interesting is that
Make
the
sure
mayor
you're
of
gonna be
St.
safe
Paul is
if
at
shit
almost
pops
every
off.
single press conference with the mayor of Minneapolis, but most of the attention, if not all of it, is focused on the mayor of Minneapolis when the political policies, and the overall policies when it comes to sanctuary policies, it's
Because when it
pretty
comes
much
down to your community and the people that run like the city and like they want to, fool. You know they want to. You know they want to stand up. You know they want to do this and do that. I know. We know. Some people might not know and be like, oh, everybody's a dick in a suit. Some really try, fool. Some really try.
the exact same in St. Paul. So I find it interesting how now people are starting to catch up as far as paying attention to the mayor of St. Paul. But just so you are aware, the mayor of St. Paul is starting to appear on some people's radars as far as what she has been saying and people not agreeing with her. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope
Alright,
I
shout
was
out to
as
this
fair
fool.
as
He let me
possible
react to
when
his videos.
analyzing all sides of
Follow
the
this
story
fool.
here. I always try to be fair. Also, please pray for peace.
And
We
then
do need
follow
that
me
right
and then
now. I always
subscribe
advocate
because I'm
for
trying to
peace
hit
at
a
the
crazy
end
amount
all
of
my
subscribers.
videos, and I really
Please
mean it. I
spread
think we
it,
should be
spread
praying
that
for
shit
peace.
like COVID.
Also,
I'm
make
just
sure to
playing.
subscribe.
I'm just
Leave
playing.
your